Welcome back, students. I'm Suchit Kaur. So, ready with your book and pencil in hand? Open page number 15 of your book, Beehive. Let's start then. The Road Not Taken. It consists of 4 stanzas of 5 lines. Read the first stanza along with me. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So, these are the meanings of difficult words in this stanza. Diverged means separated and took a different direction. Yellowwood is a forest with decomposing leaves. Undergrowth is the dense growth of plants and bushes like in a forest. So, here once the poet was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths, and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these two roads. Yellowwood means a forest with leaves which are wearing out and they have turned yellow in color. The season of autumn, when there is fall of leaves. It represents a world which is full of people, where people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older than the poet. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully as far as he could see it. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or no? He was able to see the path till from where it curved, after which it was covered with trees and was hidden. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. So, same way you also face when you will be in 10th and you have to decide whether you will take medical, non-medical or arts. You will be having so many options in front of you, but you have to take a wise decision that which option you want to take. So come on the next stanza, second stanza, and read along with me. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. So here fair means as good as the other one. Claim is the better option. Grassy here means unused, which is not used much by the people. Wanted wear had not been used much. Worn, damaged and shabby as a result of much use. The poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not. And then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says, just as fair, so he felt that both the paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him, so he chooses it as it had grass on it, which means that it was unused. Not many people had walked on this path earlier. That is why this path was grassy. And wanted wear means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, advantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not that way. So come on the third stanza now and read along with me. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way. I doubted if I should ever come back. So here, equally lay refers to both paths. They are almost equal in the eyes of the speaker. Nothing much difference is there that between one is less traveled than the other, simply meaning that less people have walked upon it. Trodden here means walked over. So the poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them as they were still green in color. He decided that that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day. Although he knew that one way leads on to another way, he knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we chose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. So in the same way, if you have opted for medical, in between you can't leave that line and change it, and you can't go to the other. You have to follow and keep on moving ahead with the choice which you have made. So we should be very wise in choosing our options. So come to the fourth stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So here sigh means deep breath, hence here in the future. He says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he travelled on that road which had been travelled upon by lesser number of people. That decision of his decided his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made you what you became of it. This is a very strong message for all the students, that you should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. So in this video lecture we have covered the explanation of the poem. In my next video lecture we will be discussing about the literary devices, and we'll follow the back exercises of this poem. Thank you and have a nice day, students.